Babysitting can help young people build maturity, responsibility, trustworthiness, and organizational skills. Today, I will explain how babysitting can help young people become more responsible and more mature in their life. I come from a big family, so I am the oldest of 5 kids. So since being at home doing my school, I sometimes have to babysit my younger siblings, and and they're young, so I've had some time to do this. So, first thing babysitting can teach you is responsibility and maturity. Sorry. Um, when a parent leaves, no matter who you are to them or your background, you become the temporary adult as the babysitter. So, you are now temporarily. What is that word? You are now temporarily in charge of the child's meals, the child's playtime, bedtime, homework, any activities the child may have for that evening or day. So, according to an article on medium.com called The Advantages of Babysitting, How It Properly Impacts Children and Caregivers, they state babysitters must prioritize the safety and well-being of children in their care, which is true, because babysitting is like becoming a temporary parent. You must manage the child's needs, your needs, while keeping everything else under control. The next thing babysitting helps with is time management and organization. Parents only leave for a certain amount of time since you are babysitting, so they only leave for a certain amount of time. It can be a couple of hours, it could be an hour for grocery shopping, it could be for a date night, it could be for anything. So, with the time you have with the child, you must use that time to watch the child, make sure that they finish all their activities, like if they have homework, if they have to be in bed by a certain time, if they have to practice something for school, like band. You just have to make sure that they do have their schedule and you get it done. So, babysitting can help you refine that and help you work on that. That way, as you keep babysitting and you keep going back to these children, you hopefully learn how to manage your time better and you can get all their stuff done. Also, depending on where you are in your life, you need to be able to get your stuff done as well. For example, since I am in school, if I were to have to babysit my younger siblings, I would have to make sure I get my homework done as well as whatever they have. So, according to Dr. John Duffy, the author of The Available Parent, he states, it is also a positive, constructive use of time. I find that many teenagers I have worked with who babysit regularly tend to be more organized and they seem to make a better use of their time. End quote. For me personally, since I do babysit my younger siblings, I do have to make sure I am able to manage my time well, since I am in college and I have in the last couple of years. So I have to make sure I have been able to get all of my homework done. I have to make sure I am able to get all of their homework done because they are still in grade school. I have to make sure that they eat dinner on time. I have to make sure that they get to bed on time, make sure they brush their teeth, all that good stuff. I have to make sure all of us get our stuff done. So that way, at the end of the day, everything is done and it has been a productive day. The next thing that babysitting can help is it can teach you reliability and trustworthiness. As a parent, you need to be able to trust your babysitter. And as a babysitter, you need to be able to communicate and be reliable for the parent to trust you. That way, you continue to have this job or you continue to get this experience. So, the parents need to be able to trust you by the babysitter showing responsibility and communication skills, good time management, all that good stuff. So keeping commitments, being on time, and communicating well with parents are all skills that will help you in the long run in terms of future jobs, schools, future in parenting, if that is a course that you're going to go down, a life course you're going to go on. According to the article, 13 Qualities All Good Babysitters Share, do you have what it takes? It quotes, every parent wants a dependable babysitter. Their worst nightmare is getting all dressed up for a night away from their kids, only to have the babysitter call 30 minutes in advance to say that they won't be able to make it. This quote shows that depending on where you are, depending on where you live, it is harder to find a babysitter on such short notice. So, for example, here in small towns, you usually live close to other relatives and families. So, if one babysitter falls through, you can usually depend on grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle to watch the kids on short notice. But in bigger cities that I read, like New York, where everything is super busy, it's like 10 times faster than what it is here, it is harder to find babysitters on such short notice, since most of the time you're not living close to relatives in such a big city. So, in that sense, if you were in New York and the babysitter was not dependable, then the parents would be out of a babysitter and they would have to stay home, which could be bad depending on what they're going out for. It could be if it was like a work dinner, for example. So, in conclusion, babysitting can help young people with many life skills that they carry well into adulthood. Today, I mentioned reliability, trustworthiness, time management, organization, maturity, and responsibility. All of these skills will help them in the long run, even if they don't know it yet. So, thank you. Have a good day.